And joining us on this big story is a special panel. We will be joined shortly by Air Marshal Anil Chopra, member of the Armed Forces Tribunal and founder of Air Power Asia, Major General Dhruv Katoch, director of the India Foundation, and defense analyst will be joining us shortly. Sree Iyer, foreign policy analyst, is live with us this morning. Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, also joins us live at this point on the broadcast. Sree Iyer, let me draw you in here. Very significant visit of Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to Moscow, and very significant RIC trilateral meeting also taking place. Remember all of this, Mr. Iyer, at a time when India and China tensions are rising, when there is no deadlock as yet to the Galwan Valley standoff. What are you expecting to be the outcome of these key meetings between the defence ministers, of course, of our countries, but also the foreign minister in this trilateral exercise?
Uday, I'm a bit surprised that India decided to send its defense minister and the minister of external affairs for this summit. I mean, China has barged into the door and they have occupied it, and then when they are called, they are crying uncle. Now, today there is an article in US News where they are roundly calling out General Zhao Zongqi, head of the Western Theater Command, as a person who had told the Chinese troops to ambush the Indian troops who had come there for peace talks. This was just supposed to be a routine meeting of talks, and then they got ambushed. And how? It was a terrible, terrible disaster. And after all that, I don't understand why India feels the need to send its defense minister and the Minister of External Affairs to this summit. If I were, Prime Minister Modi, I would say, look, these guys are not willing to, talk. What is the point in talking when they say that come for talk and then they kill my commander? What is, Subhash Babu's life worth for? I'm sorry, I might be here blowing the contrarian conch, but I feel that India should have made a stand and said that, no, we are not coming for this meeting. First thing is China needs to withdraw to the positions it occupied before April 20th. There is a history, there's a pattern of occurrences where China, like salami tactics, a little piece at a time, they just keep on gobbling into this line of actual control. And every time India says, okay, it reconciles itself and says, okay, now this will be my line of actual control. And oh, by the way, nothing grows there, so it's okay. First thing we need to do, and first thing the MEA needs to do, don't call Aksai Chin as Aksai Chin. It used to be called Gosthana, place where cows live. That's what they should be starting to call it. That is how the Tibetans and the Ladakhis used to refer to it. Let's start calling that as Gosthana. What is wrong in that? It's so easy. I think India needs to do a few things. It needs to be a little bit more muscular. It has to show that it disapproves of China's action, and it could have easily done that by, not sending anybody or send just the foreign secretary. Let him go and represent India. There has to have been some message, and I don't see that.
Okay, fair point there. But however, do you believe that Russia will be attending? Of course, it's not going to be on the record, Mr. Iyer, but do you believe Russia will be attending through these meetings to also try and broker peace, to also try and bring about some sort of solution to this standoff?
In my humble opinion, Russia has sort of become, they've gotten into the pocket of China. Russia relies on China a lot, and China wants Russia's oil at rock bottom prices. So this is a, I scratch your back, you scratch my back kind of attitude. And I don't think Russia has the kind of clout that it had when it was the second superpower. That I would say like the late 50s, early 60s. Because by the time the 65 war came along, Russia had already started waning. And now, in my opinion, Russia is just a paper tiger. They may be doing some things in the Middle East that is purely because America abdicated its responsibility, not because Russia could have easily, fought and got it. So, in my opinion, Russia doesn't matter. India should have just said, you want to talk, first withdraw, then we will talk. And now, again, India just stoops, and I don't understand why. What's the need for it?
All right, I think we're losing Joyita there, but let me bring back Mr. Iyer to quickly comment on that. Mr. Iyer, would you like to come in there? You also made the point earlier. You also made the point earlier that clearly, of course. Okay, just 1 second. You also made the point there earlier, of course, Mr. Iyer, that you believe that the wrong message is being sent by the foreign minister actually attending this meeting. However, reportedly, the issue will not come up. The Galwan Valley issue will not come up because it's a trilateral meeting.
Now, if you don't want to talk about what China has been doing with India, then what exactly is it that we will talk in that trilateral meeting? Russia doesn't share borders with India. In fact, technically, China doesn't either. It is Tibet that has the borders with India. And why is, India... Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to take one little segue here. Now, I heard something saying that India is unable to make payments for the aircraft it ordered, and that's why the defense minister is in Moscow. If that was the case, if India has a shortage of funds, then why did India turn away the offer of help from USA? All US wanted was some boots in the ground in Afghanistan. In exchange, US was willing to offer India whatever it wanted. If we are so low on ammunition, state-of-the-art missiles and other things, India could have easily gotten all that. And worse, what is now going to happen is Taliban is going to occupy the Bagram, which is the state-of-the-art Air Force base that US has built at considerable expense. Why did India turn that offer away? It's not as if the India's economy, India's resources have come down like suddenly. It's been going down for a long time. I'm talking about 2017 when McMaster's came calling, and the then Defense Minister Nirmala Sitharaman flat out said that no, we are not going to allow any Indian boots on the ground. My point, limited point here. I mean, there may be other considerations, and we have two excellent gentlemen representing the armed forces here. They may be able to give a more nuanced answer. From me, it looks like India could have easily gotten on-par treatment with the US, where you are giving something for getting something, and be treated as an equal.
Point taken.
Now, if India goes asking for help, just to US, it's not going to be on an equal footing. That is my concern.
Before I bring in Air Marshal, Sree Iyer, very quickly, I have to take a break then. Sree Iyer.
Hold on, S-400, let me just say one thing here. This S-400, China has also purchased. So what exactly have we got this huge advantage when this particular thing...
Okay, point taken, I have to end. Mr. Iyer, quickly.
Yes. Look forward, guys. Look forward. What should have happened was India was developing the Chabahar port, and it was also laying the road from Chabahar to Kabul. That was going to be the access route. You can always say the thing that, Trump welched on his deal with Iran and it turned it back. But India should have stood firm at that point and said, look, we have the commitment to develop Chabahar. We have an agreement with Iran, and we will continue to buy oil from them at the predetermined prices. There was nothing wrong in that. Unnecessarily, India gave up that leverage also in May of last year. You just can't, give up all these small things here and there. Now, even Chabahar is going to go to China's way. Oh, one last thing before I conclude. The United States government has now told all its chip suppliers to stop selling chips to Huawei. In 3 months' time, they can only sell to Huawei. After that, zero sales after that. And they are trying very hard to extradite the CFO, the daughter of the chairman of Huawei, from Canada to US to stand trial. US is dead serious about Huawei and ZTE. Both these are run by PLA, and they have a lot of technology that spies on you. And by extension, I'm saying that the S-400 electronics are going to be from China, and China will be able to easily find out much more than what India intends to show. And I think it's a bad deal to go with the S-400. India needs to know what is best in terms of encryption that will suit it, and something that the others will not be able to break. India should be working with countries like Israel to get the top of the line encryption technology, so that whatever it is that they do between their ground tower and the aircraft is completely encrypted in a way that the others cannot break. Do not depend on somebody else to get this stuff. And I have my fears that with S-400 that we may actually be leaking like a sieve.
All right, we'll leave it at that. My thanks to all of you for joining us.